So then, you know what I'm saying? Now you all on the side of the road, and I don't know what's going on with you. You know, oh, we back in the building. We in the building. All right, what's going on? This is down to Sports Talk. You already know the vibes. Left-handed in the house. Yada Bears right there. My code D in the building all the time, as usual. Making it do what it do. Good show tonight. We're gonna talk about a bunch of things tonight. Yada Bear got some things she want to definitely talk about in regards to boxing. We're gonna talk about these NFL running backs, how they're being kind of like mistreated, and that I use that term lightly. You know what I
Loosely.
mean? Loosely, absolutely. We're gonna get into that. My Yankees are in last place right now, all by themselves, and I'm mad. So you already know I'm gonna get into them figuratively and literally. You know what I mean? And a bunch of other stuff. WNBA All Star Game. We're gonna review that, and basically that. So here we are, Tuesday night. Once again, it's on and all that good stuff. Yada Bear, what's good with you?
I have not much, here relaxing. Got the Phillies on, Phillies playing well right
Uh
now.
oh. Uh
You
oh.
know, um, Excited about that. Probably talk a little bit of Sixers. A lot of things been going on.
Yeah.
People tweeting things on Twitter like it's funny and it's not funny, and definitely this NFL running back situation,
Mm-hmm.
super hot topic right now. But
But
yeah,
we gonna set it off first because some things was going on in the world of boxing, specifically women's boxing. And Yada hit me the other day. She was like, "Did you see this madness?" And I said, "Yeah, I saw it." And she said, "I'm definitely speaking to it." And Yada Bear is usually the calm one out the crew. You know what I mean? But I think she was a tad bit perturbed. So I'm gonna turn it over to Yada Bear, and that's how we're going to set the show off tonight. Down at In Sports Talk. Make sure you rock out with us, man. Every Tuesday night, we're in the building. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Yada Bears in the building.
yeah. So the other day I was just scrolling on Twitter, just minding my own business, where I came across a post by Clarissa Shields that had a video of a boxing match that was over, and the winner was announced, and she was celebrating by flashing everyone her boobs. She just literally just lift up her shirt, bam, flash, jumping, a celebration. Everyone's clapping, everyone's smiling like that's funny. And what Carissa wrote was like, it's basically taking a step backwards in women's sports by that type of celebration and being applauded by it. And when, I knew what Clarissa wanted to say, and she couldn't say it because of, her stature out there and who she is as a black female, undisputed champion. So I'm going to say it. And the only reason why this wasn't talked about, it wasn't on ESPN, it wasn't on Fox Sports, CBS Sports, NBC Sports, it was on no sports show. It's because she's white. This white lady by the name of Daniela Hamsley, who just made her professional boxing debut. She's she was some type of YouTube or excuse me, OnlyFans star that turned around and started a boxing career, and this was her first professional box under the what was it, the King's Pen promotion. And she just out there, bam, flash away, everyone's happy, everyone's clapping, no one's talking about this. We, as women, had a hard role to try to even get respect as professional athletes here in America. And when we talk about women professional boxing, that really don't get that much shine out there. But there's a lot of excellent fighters out there who's doing their thing, and then you go on Twitter and you see this. This right here is kind of like, 10 steps backwards. When you have leagues out there like lingerie football, the guys, they all love it, but it's exploiting females and they're exploiting itself. But hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to pay the bills. But when you trying to be a serious athlete in a serious sport, because as I always say, you can play basketball, you can play baseball, but you can't play hockey. I mean, excuse me, you can't play boxing. Boxing, you can die in that ring. Hand to hand combat sport like that, you just can't play. And it seems like this lady is playing and she's being celebrated because she's white. If this was Clarissa Shields, even Layla Ali, anyone, any type of person of color would have just flashed their boobs on, after the match and celebration. Can you imagine watching the WNBA and at the end of the game, they hit a game winning shot, someone flashed their boobs on the court? They would be all over Sports Center. They'd be calling for fines, suspensions, everything underneath the book. But this lady, you didn't hear anything about it. And I'm pretty sure nobody's talking about this. But everyone who's listening, look it up. Only thing you got put in is female boxer celebration. I mean, her name is Daniela Hamsley, and it's I don't know. It's a shame that 2023 we're still being viewed like this, and women out there are making it hard for those professional women who's actually taking the sport very seriously and are very I'm just lost for words. I'm just so crazy, to even see that happen, and the fact that nobody's talking about it. She hasn't been suspended. She hasn't been fined. It's crazy. Like, the privilege is real. So with women out there, especially white women who still thinks that white privilege isn't a thing, this is the definition of white privilege right there. Because I'm telling you, if a black woman would have did that, she would be called all types of names, saying she ain't got no home training. They'll try to dig into her upbringing. They will go in through her past. It will be she'll be ran out of the sport. But because this chick is white, there's no repercussions. There's nothing at all, and it's ridiculous. How you feel about this, Left?
Um, you know what? I'm gonna say this to it. That's why I kind of like, I had to fall back because again, I think that I didn't want to come off as sounding, sexist or anything like that. But again, that is a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like you said, if you're trying to become or be considered or taken serious in a serious sport, is many other ways you could have celebrated. You know what I mean? You could have did like the lady in the U.S. women's soccer team. She had on like a sports bra
Yeah.
under her jersey. She pulled that up. You know what I mean? So and that's celebrated. You see that? You're going to see that when the U.S. women's soccer team play, as
Mm-hmm.
one of the examples of celebrating and being exuberant and things of that nature. But I'm like, wow, man. When I saw that, at first when I heard about it, I was like, let me see what's going on here. And then they showed it, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, okay, she really, really went there.
She
You know what I
really went.
mean?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not the one to really, speak to it. That's why, Yada hit me. Yada was like, yo, like, what's going on here? And I'm in total agreement. Some things, are a little bit too much and overblown. And out of proportion. And I think that she really went way, way, way above and beyond as far as celebrating. And there should be some kind of, repercussion to come down from this. Maybe she should get fined or reminded at least that that's not the proper thing to do. Now, if you're a grown person in the sport, where you're making money and you have a responsibility, and they always like to throw this word around called a role model, where you have people
Mm-hmm.
watching you and things of that nature. Pardon self. When you have people watching you and people, paying attention to your every move, that's not a good example. Now, this is, she could be, she could go in there and knock Clarissa Shields out in the first round, and they won't talk about that. They'll talk
Mm-mm.
about how she exposed herself when she won her first match.
Yeah.
So I guess, at the end of the day, people have their ways of wanting to be famous, but you could be infamous. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I just felt like, this is, nobody's talking about it. Absolutely. I haven't heard one word except for the
No.
people who, brought it to people's attention. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like I felt like Yada, was really, really, wanting to talk to it, and I felt like, this is what she should do. You know what I mean? Go ahead, speak your mind, do what you do. And the part about her being a white woman as opposed to somebody, a person, a woman of color, doing something like that, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It would be the topic of all, like, on new on TV shows that have nothing to do with sports.
Yeah.
They would lead off their show with that, or how she's a bad influence, and how could they allow this to go on, and she should be stripped of her title, all types of
Mm-hmm.
madness.
Yeah.
And you're not
Yeah.
hearing a word the first about this lady, who exposed herself in front of the whole world, because this was an event that was on the internet, so I'll say the
Yeah.
whole world.
Yeah.
And she's and to me, it's being celebrated like she did something spectacular.
Yeah.
And I just didn't get that, but I think that I'm a whole yada down on that. And I got your back totally on that, because if it was a woman of color, you know what I mean,
Oh
it
yeah.
would have a whole different reaction. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. If it, like I said, if it was a woman of color, this would be on CNN,
Mm-hmm.
ESPN. It'd be
BET.
all over the place. Everybody would be talking about this. This would be all over the internet. This would be on Facebook, Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, not
Right.
just it would have been
Right.
all over the place.
Right.
People who've been out here giving their thoughts about this crazy, and for the past couple of days, when I stumbled across it, I saw nobody talking about it.
Right, Browski. Nobody's
Nobody.
even
Like,
giving their
I'm on
thoughts about
Twitter
it. Right.
looking.
No
I'm like,
memes, none of
wow,
that. That's right. That's right.
nothing. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, no one's gonna mention this like this. I'm like, so am I the only one that's watching that's seeing this?
Right.
Like, is this real? Or
Right.
is
Right.
somebody trying to fake me out? Or is this something? It's like a fake post. But no, it was true. You can look it right up on YouTube. You see it. I'm like, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But we know what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. So we wanted to start the show off with that, because I know Yada had some things that she wanted to talk to about that. So this is
Yep.
down in Sports Talk. If you don't know, we appreciate you rocking out with us. Get at me. I'm on Twitter at RMDes. All right. We got a sponsor. Bubby is in the building. You know what I mean? So make sure you check out. That's an energy drink. So make sure that you check that out. We're gonna have them on the show sometime in the next couple of weeks. They're gonna chop it up with us. So
Nice.
we getting there, yo. Slowly but surely. We getting there. We in the building, slowly but surely. Where you want to start off first, Yada? You want to talk about your boy Joel Embiid?
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely talk about that. Um,
Okay.
he's out here, being the troll that he is, but he's trolling against his own team and fan base. He was trolling us, and I didn't like that too much. I didn't like what he said, and sometimes people speak out of turn. Sometimes you speak too much, and someone asks you a question, and sometimes you just don't need to answer it in a certain way. And he was saying that, like, I don't think what he said was wrong. Like, he said that he wants to win the championship if it's going to be here or somewhere else. I just think it was bad timing, especially how our off season is shaping up. Um, and don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure that if nothing changed, that he probably will ask for a trade. He has every right to ask for a trade within the next 2 years. I just think it was just a little too soon and just not a good timing to say something like that. And especially after the off season that he had, where he spoke a lot of about we don't have enough to win a championship and we this and we that, instead of saying I or me, because he's the one that let us down. He the one that went out there and played like a sucker in game 6 and was
Mm-mm.
non-existent
Let's go,
in
Browski.
game 7. So for him to say that, I just thought it was like in poor timing. He has every right to say that he wants to win the championship, but you can't put another city or say somewhere else during this time, because right now it's a lot of uncertainty when it comes with the Sixers, and it's really pinned up around this James Harden, Damian Lillard situation. And a lot, like I said before, a lot of people keep talking about on the Sixers and what the Sixers need to do, but no one's pointing out what the Clippers should be doing, because if they're really interested in trading for James Harden, for you to come to us to say, "Oh, we're not going to put Terrence Mann in the trade," then what are you coming with? Because I'm not going to trade a guy of James Harden level for a bunch of scrubs. You know, I'm not going to do it. A bunch of bench players. I'm not okay with that, and the Sixers shouldn't be okay with that also. So people need to start switching the focus on the Clippers. And truthfully, I don't think the trade should be with the Clippers, because I don't want a bunch of role players. I need a star caliber player for James Harden. Because to
I got a
me,
I got a star player for you. I got a
who?
star player for you. His initials are JR.
Nah, that's okay. My focus is in Chicago. Okay, Chicago got
Listen,
two guys there
go ahead.
who Chicago is selling,
Right.
and it could be even DeMar, or it could be Zach
Zach
LaVine.
Levine. Right.
And if we go Zach, I'm fine with that. And people, is too quick, I would say, in Philly to want to trade Tobias. But I look at it this way: I see Nick Nurse do more with less in Toronto.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe it wasn't the fact that Tobias was having a down season. Well, he had a pretty okay season. He had a decent postseason, especially on the defensive end. People, you know, don't want to recognize that. But Nick Nurse made stars out of guys named Pascal Siakam, Fred Van Vliet,
Uh-oh.
OG Anunoby. He made stars. Fred just got a bag from Houston. Siakam is one of the most sorted out players right now, and so is OG Anunoby. And these are guys that nobody was speaking of highly
Right.
about
They're not household names like
Toronto.
that. Right. That's right.
Yeah. So for me to be quick to say, "Oh, let's get Tobias out there," if I can get something great for Tobias, good for Tobias, yes, I would. I would definitely listen. But if there's nothing really out there for me to get for Tobias, then I'd rather keep him and see what Nick can do. and then his contract comes off the books next season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's money there. And then it's a thing going on with James and Daryl Morey. I'm pretty sure that their relationship is a little estranged right now, because I feel like in James Harden's mind, he said, "Okay, I'm going to give you guys a discount for next year," thinking that Daryl Morey is going to come in this season and give him the bag. No, not after that performance that you gave in the postseason. We was one game away of getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, and we lost 2 games straight. In Game 6, we was ahead at home that we should have won. So you telling me, oh, you had 2 40-point games? That's lovely. But when the back against the wall, when it was time to put the nail in the coffin to end the series and move on, you flaked out. You flamed out. So you telling me,
I ain't hear nobody say that in a long time. You flaked out.
yeah,
Let's go. I ain't hear nobody say that in a long time.
so it's like you flamed out. You disappeared. You think you deserve 4 years, 200 some odd $1 million? No. And the reason why we're having a hard time getting rid of you, because your value in the league has diminished. You're
Right.
not the same James Harden. These players need to realize that when teams are looking to trade you and no one's knocking at the door, no one's calling, no one's blowing up the spot, it's because of you.
Mm-hmm.
Your value has diminished, and it's get lower and lower each year. And last season, it kind of plummeted, especially in that Game 6, Game 7. It was like, wow, this guy is not worth that much. How do you think Houston said, no, you know what? We'll give Fred the bag and a couple other people. We don't want James. We don't want that guy. When a team like the Houston Rockets can clearly say we don't want them,
Who could use a veteran presence?
who can use a veteran guy, point guard in Houston with a bunch of young up and coming talent? They said, no, it's okay. We'll go get the guy in Toronto. We think he's better. He's a better fit for our team.
Mm-hmm.
Then that should tell you something. So it's just a little shaky here with the Sixers. Um, we only thing we're doing just sitting back and just watching this show, because it's not a very good show. It's not a very good one, but we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna speak to this for a second. First of all, like everything you said is absolutely right. Make sure y'all follow my code D at Yada Bear on Twitter. Make sure you follow my code D. Listen, man. Joel Embiid, he tried to walk it back and say, he was trolling and things of that nature. I don't think that Joel Embiid was trolling. I think Joel Embiid put it out there. And the feedback that he got wasn't what he thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Joel Embiid, for as much as he's contributed to the Sixers and their situation, I think he kind of owes them, because they waited for Joel Embiid. You drafted him. You waited 2 seasons for him to get right.
Yeah, we did.
Because he was dealing with
rushing at all. We didn't rush him at all.
And that was what you guys called the process.
Correct.
So again, like Yada said, you were in situations where you should have at least won one Eastern Conference final and been to a final. At least one.
Listen. If he would have came in.
Hold on, Browski. Kawhi Leonard had you crying.
Yes.
Kawhi Leonard had you crying, right? You had people around you. I'm not going to talk about Ben Simmons. I'm not going to talk about James Harden. You got a young, up-and-coming guy that's on the cusp of being a star in this league, and Tyrese Maxey.
Yes.
Who sits back and watches all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And he don't know what side of the fence to play. All he knows is that he's dedicated and he's locked in to this franchise.
Yeah.
Who's going to be here? He has no idea. He don't even know who the coach is going to be. You went from Brent Brown to Doc Rivers. Now you got
Nick Nurse.
the Nick Nurse dude.
Yeah.
So Joel Embiid, as being what you've been in the league, 9 years? So you've been around for a minute, and for you to put it out there, and this is the games that these guys play when they say, "Oh well, whether it's here or somewhere else." Mm-hmm. You're casting your reel out into the lake to see who's going to bite.
Yep.
And for you to walk it back and say, "Well, I was trolling." No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. But I tell you like this. You could go from blue and red to blue and orange, and I won't have a problem with it, because I think I was the first one down at Sportstalk. Me and my Cody out of Bear in the building. Even though she was mad at me, I said Joel Embiid need to come to the Knicks. I was the first one to say that. Google it, research it. I was the first one to say Joel Embiid need to come to the Knicks. And Yada Bear wanted to jump up and punch me in the chin, but that's cool. It's all good. But I just feel like, Joel Embiid, and not for nothing, you're not, you're decent. You know what I mean? You're a star in the NBA and this and that and the third. But you haven't really, built your stock up yet, man. You still got to live that crying meme down, right? So until you get to an Eastern Conference final, at least,
yeah,
you should really be easy about the things that you say in regards to a franchise who had to wait for you to get right. Finally, you got an MVP. That's cool. Absolutely. You should have more than one. But at the end of the day, you don't do that, man. Unless you're definitely coming to the Knicks, then you can do what you want. But I'm just saying, I'm sorry, Browski, I'm sorry. But again, I think that Joel Embiid is call himself playing the game. I'm gonna say, well, I want to win a championship here or somewhere else, and then walk it back like I was true. No, you wasn't, yo. Why can't these athletes? Let me say this, Browski. Why can't these athletes stand on their square? If they say something, mean it. Be about your business. Don't, just because you didn't get the response that you wanted to get, now you was trolling. Yep. Now you was playing games. They haven't done that since 2017. It's 2023. People stop trolling.
Yep.
So again,
then you're trolling your own fan base.
There you go. Yeah, you're trolling your own fan base.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, I knew that this offseason was going to be different for Joel because of how he played in the playoffs. That he was going to get heat, and he's been getting fire, and he's getting all the smoke here in Philly. We haven't, backed down. Like, the one thing I say about Philadelphia fans is we're truthful. We will stand behind you when you're doing amazing. But we'll also let you know when you stink, and we also want to let you know when you're messing up, and that is what he's been experiencing this season. There has been a lot of talks, within our sports radio, here in Philly that, hey, would you trade Joel? Yes, if I could get a haul, of up and coming stars, some picks. Anybody is tradable. Anybody is tradable. We have seen trades. We have seen people been released. We've seen things happen. And would I personally want to do it? No, because I do believe that he enjoys playing here and he likes the city. But it's a point where, my man, you gotta grow up.
You wouldn't want to see a Tyrese Maxey and Emmanuel Quickly backcourt. You wouldn't want to see Julius Randle and Tobias Harris. Come on, Browski. Come on now.
Not at all. You only value player that the Knicks have is Jalen Brunson.
Right.
You know,
Never mind. We ain't talking about him.
exactly. That's
We
the
ain't
only
talking about him,
that's the only value that's coming out of New York. But
Right.
but with him, it's like it's time for you to grow up, and it kind of also segue into what people been talking about, how these foreign born players are taking over the league. And the reason why, they don't have like the controversy like John Moran and things,
Mm-hmm.
things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about Joel, is yes, he's a foreign born player, but he played in the States longer than like Giannis did, and like Joker or Luca, because he played um at Kansas.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So he
so
know the
so
vibes.
he
That's right.
is so he is kind of, he is Americanized, and that's why he's on Twitter trolling and doing dumb things
Allegedly.
like that.
Right. Right. Right.
You don't see anything like that from Giannis. You don't see anything like that from Luca. Shoot, you don't even know if Joker even have any social media.
Right.
But when it comes to this guy, it's like, chill, take a step back. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
why are you trolling us? You don't do that. Like, you already know how Philly get down. He knows that from experience, and now we are getting to the point where there's no excuse. You get all the smoke now, player. You
Right.
want to troll?
Right.
We control too, and you're not gonna
Absolutely.
like our
You might
trolls.
and listen, don't troll too hard, Browski. You know how sensitive Joel Embiid is. He might start
Yeah,
crying.
we
Don't
might
do
troll him out of
don't do
here,
that.
okay?
Don't do that now.
But that's
Listen,
how it
this is
is.
this is down in Sports Talk. We live on Facebook, YouTube, StreamYard, all that good stuff right there. We're gonna flip it over to the WNBA All-Star Weekend. And I know Brasky wants to talk about that. I want to talk about it too, because it was very good for the league. We've been talking about the WNBA all season long, how this would be a sort of turnaround season for them. They've extended the season to 40
Yeah.
games. You had the Brittany Griner situation going on, and you got
Mm-hmm.
super teams in Vegas and New York and
Yeah.
things of that nature. So let's talk. We're gonna go overtime tonight. We're gonna go a little overtime tonight.
Yeah.
But Browski, go ahead, talk about the WNBA All-Star Weekend a little bit, and give your thoughts and what you see as far as the second half of what you thought about the All-Star game, All-Star Weekend.
Sure. All right. So number one, I gotta start off by saying congratulations to Sabrina. I'm not gonna mess up her last name.
Anescu.
Inescu. Yes, 3-point champion. She missed only 2 shots. She scored 37 points in the final round of the 3-point competition. 37 points. That's more points than Steph Curry shot when he won. He scored 31. 31 was like the record, and she scored 37 points. She missed 2 shots, so that was
Yeah.
extremely impressive. Like, she was on fire. I mean, she is the product of the Steph Curry school of shooting. And you can tell it paid off. So I want to start off by giving her kudos, congratulations on that. Um, the skill challenge was good. The Aces, what was the team Aces took that. And also shout out to the WNBA by having better trophies this year.
Oh yeah,
Remember
it was definitely bigger, right? Last year was like, what is right? It was last year. We was like, you crazy.
Now
That's right.
they're holding it like this.
With two hands, right? With all the hands,
So,
right?
so I thought,
Right.
shout out to the WNBA for finally, stepping up and doing the right thing, and having realistic professional trophies for a professional, league. So it was great to see that. And the All-Star game was good. It was exactly what I expected to be. everyone's showing off their skills. It was great to see a lot of the NBA players there, supporting with their children. You had a couple of stars in the audience also, so it was a star-studded event in Vegas. They put on a good show there, and so to the surprise of everybody, Team Stewart won. They crushed the record of scoring with like 137 points, 130 something, 34 points. I believe they scored. They broke that record. It was entertaining. Brittany Griner, threw down a dunk. Um, and a girl, Jewel Lord, she
Yeah,
won
she
the
won MVP.
MVP. She
Jewel
had
Lord.
like 30
She had 31.
31 to like 31 points and like 13 rebounds, like 30, either 31 and 10 or 31 and 13, something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
she definitely was crushing out there. It was very entertaining. Um, it was just it was a good time. It was great to see them be celebrated on national TV. The only thing I would have to say is the fact that, you know, why couldn't it have like WNBA All Star like Saturday night, like at nighttime, like the skill competition, the 3-point competition was all happening during the daytime, which probably why a lot of people didn't watch it because it was during the afternoon. It's in the summer, it's summertime. Most people outside during the afternoon, like really, they couldn't have a primetime spot. You know, it's Saturday
Well,
night.
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna
It's
say
not
this.
much.
I'm gonna say this to that. I'm gonna say this to that. Um, they'll probably put it at nighttime next year. You know what I mean?
It was
I think
this
that
this this
again.
year was a prime time. You're in Vegas.
I mean, yeah,
It's
the game was perfect. The game was in prime
yeah,
time. You know what I
yeah. The
mean?
game's a prime time, but the skills competitions, it was nobody really watched it because it was during the daytime. It was like what, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like,
mm,
who's in the house really?
people were
Um,
still at.
yeah, like who's out? Everybody's out. No one's
Right,
home watching
right,
it. So I just feel
right.
like they need to do a little bit more tweaking of the format.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So because when you think about it, when the All Star break for WNBA is only baseball, and baseball is very minimal because it's almost their All Star break, so it's not that many games going on. You know,
Hmm.
wasn't that many games on TV um last Saturday, but other than that, it was great. Um, Aaliyah Boston had about, I think she said like a little rookie record. She had about 10 rebounds in the All Star game. Um, it was good to see the freshies came out to support her in the All Star game. Another thing that was kind of interested that I heard was the fact
Hmm.
that some players couldn't get tickets to the All Star game.
Hmm.
Yeah, some it was hard to get tickets. I thought that was a little weird that um certain players wasn't able to get tickets to attend the All Star game. What was weird, but
I
again, I
mean,
think more things that they got to tweak. That was
yeah, I mean,
I
yeah,
thought
they
that
got
was
they got to work it out. They got to figure it out. I mean, they went and hurried up and got them a bigger trophy, and got the
yeah.
game in prime time, and so I guess they'll look at it and they'll say, okay, so we can put the skill, with Sabrina doing her thing in the 3-point competition. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it deserves to do the prime time thing next year. So I give it to them. I give them an A for effort. You know what I mean? I like the WNBA. I like what they've done. I
Mm-hmm.
like how the league has definitely grown and expanded. You know what I mean? Shout out to Cheryl Swoops was in the building.
Yeah.
A lot of former stars were doing their thing and they showed up. Um, I just didn't quite understand why they was letting Brittany Griner. They didn't play any defense on her in the beginning of the
Yeah.
game.
They
They
just let
didn't.
her
They
score.
let her do her thing. I mean, but I guess at the end of the day, it's one of their their co-players and stuff like that, and they let her do her thing. She's back in the building and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it was a great event. Hopefully, next year they'll figure it out and they'll have the skills competition in prime time because it deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this before we move on. Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu, who wins a 3-point competition?
Oh man, I think it'd be close.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, oh man,
I think it'd be close because the one thing I'll say about shooting, it doesn't matter, man or female. It's like if your shot's falling, your shot's falling. Sometimes
if
it's
you
not.
can shoot, you can shoot. Absolutely. So
Shooting
I was
like
shooting. I was talking to one of my homies, and I was like, "Listen, at the end of the day, for me, if Sabrina Ionescu and Steph Curry had a 3-point shootout at the skills competition of the WNBA All-Star Game next season, the pressure would be all on Steph Curry because
it's all on Steph.
He would be expected to win, and the way Sabrina Ionescu was knocking them things down." Let's forget about Steph Curry. Let's dust off Larry Bird.
Look, Ray Allen and
dust off Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, dust them dudes off and bring them in the building. Word up,
hitting them, man. And like I said, shooting the ball, gender doesn't matter.
Right.
When you're talking about shooting, either you can shoot or you can't shoot, and she can shoot. So
absolutely,
if it had to be between them two, I think it would be real tight. And the way that he's shooting now, I think she may have the edge.
I ain't mad at you.
I think she might.
I ain't mad at you at all.
And as you said, all the pressure would be on him because he'd be
absolutely
to blow her out. It shouldn't even be a competition. When you're thinking about he's Steph Curry, he's an all-time 3-point.
Right, like they say, the greatest shooter ever born, and this, absolutely.
So
absolutely,
it shouldn't be a competition. So all the pressure would be on him, all the weight would be on his shoulder, and she'd just be playing with house money. And I feel like she'd just come out there and just put up the points like she has been doing. Mm-hmm. And they can't say, their 3-point line is closer because she shoots them from NBA
distance, right,
and beyond. Because once again, man or woman, everybody want to shoot threes, and everybody want to shoot half-court threes, logo threes, and that's what she's out there doing. So nobody can say, she's shooting them from the WNBA 3-point line like she hitting it off the lady tees. She, it's not the same. Well, guess what? It is the same because she's not shooting from just beyond the art. She's shooting from beyond the art.
Right.
Okay?
Right. No doubt. We're in the building, man. Down at Sports Talk. Myself, left-handed in the building. Get at me at RM Desk on Twitter. And you got my Code D in the house as usual. Yada Bear holding it down, making it do what it do. Let's get into some things now. It's about to be, football season is about to be upon us. And, they doing some of our running back dudes a little dirty here. Namely, Saquon Barkley of the Giants, Josh Jacobs from the Las Vegas Raiders, and a couple of other people. And I was looking at some statistics, and it shows that, at the end of the day, you got NFL punters making more money than NFL running backs. And I get it, the lifeline of an NFL running back, starts to depreciate after the age of 27. I get it. You know what I mean? But again, at the end of the day, nobody pays money or tunes into an NFL game on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday to see somebody punt the ball. They want to see running backs, and especially in Saquon's case with the New York Giants, he's like 40% of the offense. So why can't he get paid, according to what he contributes? Are you supposed to get you're supposed to get paid like you weigh, right? Isn't that what they say? Pay me like I weigh. You know what I mean? So if he's contributing, how in the world can Daniel Jones get $40 million and Saquon's got to argue, and you want to pay him 10? I'm not understanding how that works. But at the end of the day, I looked at some more stats, and you look at the Super Bowl winning running backs. I didn't see any Super Bowl running back that in the last maybe 5 or 7 years that got paid more than $3 million. It's a shame. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. We got a couple more things to talk about before we get up out of here. But yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on that. How do you feel about these running backs not getting paid their worth?
Well, as we all know, the NFL is a quarterback league, right? And just like any other sport, football has evolved into a quarterback slash wide receiver league now. You know, um, the times of running backs being the main staple is gone. You know, the Emmett Smiths, Marshall Falk,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jim Browns, those guys, those type of running backs are a thing in the past now. Um, it has been proven plenty times. We can say 6 times that a team don't need a top tier running back to win the Super Bowl because we can just look at the Patriots. The New England Patriots are the perfect example. They did not have not one top tier running back. They actually flip it and start doing running back by committee
Mm-hmm.
over the years, and they were successful because they had a quarterback who's one of the greatest of all times.
Knew
He
how to
didn't even
utilize
have,
those guys. Right. Right. Right.
he didn't even have top tier wide receivers. It's proven that if you have the right quarterback coach combination, everybody else is just plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at running backs, when they come in the league already banged up, because besides offensive linemen, well, besides the linemen on both offensive and defensive side, the next tier of players that collision course is always running back. They have one of the highest injury rates.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they generally are peaked. Their peak is over by 30. You haven't
Right.
had a successful running back over the age of 30, except for one guy, and nobody points him out. The one running back that has been successful and productive post 30 is Frank Gore. Frank Gore is the only running back out here who's been productive in his later years.
And is he like? I'm just going off the top of the head. Is he like number 3 all time?
He's up there. I'm not sure if he's
Right.
3, but he's up there. I'm not really sure of his position, but he's definitely up there. And he
Mm-hmm.
did that on multiple teams and post 30 and hasn't been seriously injured. Now we look at a guy like Saquon. He's been injured. He missed what? Damn near a whole season. You
Right.
know, he's been injured. Look at a guy, Derrick Henry. He missed significant time. He's been injured. Um, Josh Jacob, and as great as those guys have been, it has not equaled into wins. They have not, progressed in the postseason. The Titans, they were the number one seed, got bounced. Derrick Henry wasn't out there running all over the place in the postseason. He got ran off the field. Okay, Saquon Barkley, he wasn't running all over the field. He got bounced out the playoffs. Josh Jacob out the playoffs. So all these guys, all these running backs right now, they're saying that their value is decreasing. They don't want to, take the franchise tag. You got what? Saquon, Josh, Tony Pollard,
Tony
all,
Pollard, right?
all saying they're not signing. Well, it's the team is what's setting the value for you and all the other teams, because the running back, you can get another running back to replace these guys so easily.
That's
Look
true.
at the Chiefs. The Chiefs just won the Super Bowl with a rookie running back. The guy who they were so in love with, Clyde Edward-Helaire,
And with Alaire, right.
was nowhere to be found. They had the kid Prosecco out there running like crazy. They won the Super Bowl with this guy. And every team out here that the past 5, 6 years they won the Super Bowl, like you said, not a top tier running back. Not at all. So maybe
So
they
does
have
it?
to look at it.
So do you think it makes sense?
What I think could happen or could potentially help them is not come out the league, not come out of college so soon.
Hmm.
Especially now with the NIL deals, you can
Right.
make your money in college.
Right.
Why come out as sophomore? Why not come out after
You
your
don't
junior
have to.
season
That's right. Hmm.
when there's
So,
no rush? Because
mhm.
now that they have NIL deals out there, you can it's no rush for you to get in the league when you can make bread in college. You can get endorsements, you can get sponsored, you can make just amount just about as much as like a NFL rookie is making, you know, in college.
Right.
So stack that money, get your first, and then when you sign the deal, look at the years. You know, now your agent have to be a little bit more keen, a little bit, more creative with your first rookie deal, because most running backs, as we seen, they don't make it to their second deal with the same team they've been drafted on, and by the time they get to their second deal, they're already what, 24, 25, maybe 26 already, and
They might be.
you
They
probably,
might be. They might be damaged goods.
yeah, they might, yeah, they might be damaged goods already, or
Let me
they
say. Let
might.
me say this. Let me say this, Yada. Even in we're talking to what speaking to what you were saying. Even in the 23 NFL draft, you had Bijan Robinson, who was taken at number 8 by the Atlanta Falcons, and
Hmm.
then the next running back taken was Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama by the Detroit Lions,
Yeah.
and those two guys right there, in the top, out of the top 20 picks, you don't get another running back. You know what I mean? And until maybe later rounds, because those guys were only in the first round. So
Yes.
again, it makes sense, but I think that people are just speaking to the discrepancy in, how could you have a punter make way more money than a running back who is out on the field, way more than the punter. The punter's on the field, every fourth down. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I get it, and it makes sense. And when you talk about, like you said, the lifetime of these running backs isn't really that long anyway. So get your bread, and like you said, I think a lot of these kids that are in school now, they'll have second thoughts about turning away that NIL money to chase an NFL deal when they're going to underpay you anyway, and the NIL deal they're going to give you, they're going to pay as like you weigh. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
so it's gonna be worth it for you to
Stay in
make that
school.
happen for yourself. And yeah, stay in school. Stay in school. Don't be no fool. You know what I
Yeah, because
mean?
what?
Danny can still be in
B.
the
John
building.
Robinson, what, he
Yeah,
was a sophomore, right? He was a
I
sophomore.
think Bijan Robinson was a sophomore
Yeah.
out of Texas. Yeah,
Yeah. So
you
it's
know what I
like,
mean?
what is the rush now to leave school where you are getting paid in school?
Right. and you got a what was it, a Maserati or
Yeah,
in the driveway? You know what I'm
all
saying?
right.
So absolutely. So make it do what it do for yourself. Down at In Sports Talk, we're in the building every Tuesday night. You know what I mean? 8 to 9. Myself and my co-D Yada Bear. Listen, it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. You know what I mean? We always try to throw something in. As far as doing some reminiscing. I'm gonna let Browski set it off. What's the best hip hop concert that you ever been to?
Oh, well, oh, that's easy for me.
Okay, okay,
Uh, all my Philly peoples, Powerhouse.
okay.
Power 99 always have this annual concert around October, around Halloween, called Powerhouse, where get a bunch of artists come in. And was it 1999? Jay-Z, DMX, Fat Joe, Big Pun, Noriega. Was it Little? No, was it Foxy? Um, it was a great concert. Seeing Hove perform live was great. DMX, amazing performer. Like DMX had the crowd crazy. And then you have Ja Rule, and that was there because they came and they did Money Cash Holes of all three of them performing together on stage. Um, Seeing Big Pun, before he tragically passed away. Young Fat Joe out there, you know, had Noriega out there his hit on was out there
Right.
blazing. Everybody what, like it was just a hype show. And
Word up.
everybody gave a great performance. So that was like one of my favorite hip hop concerts that I went to. Yeah, I had to say Powerhouse. What about you?
Um, when I was thinking about what question I was gonna put out there, and the hip hop concert thing, it's like for me, I can't really call it because it's been so many. Like I
I
was
was
in the
gonna say, I
building
know
that
you been
night.
so.
Yeah, I was in the building that night with Run DMC with the Adidas, throw your sneakers in the air. I was backstage with Jam Master Jay, rest in peace. Um, it's so many. It's so many. But if I had to give one, it would be the Walking with a Panther tour. LL Cool J, I think Public Enemy, I think Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and what set it off for me was De La Soul. And
Okay.
this was when in the beginning, this was 3 Feet High and Rising. You know what I mean? They came out there with the spinning wheel and they had the dancers and stuff like Slick Rick. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? LL Cool J at the end with the big radio and all of that. And again, like I'm in this hip hop thing, so I'm backstage and stuff like that. But as I learned and as I got older, you don't want to be backstage at them shows. You want to be right there, like you want to see. You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn my lesson. But the Run DMC show at the Garden, it stood out to me because Jam Master Jay is one of my hip hop heroes. I'm glad I got to build with him and chop it up with him. And he was just backstage, and it was just jokes on top of jokes on top of jokes on top of jokes. Shout out to Hurricane. Shout out to Mike D from the Beastie Boys. Oh my goodness. So again, listening to you talk about the powerhouse thing and how
Yeah.
you were just running down the list of people like you could see it in your mind's eye. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that's what we don't get that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I
No,
just
definitely
yeah,
don't.
yeah, because everybody, you were in the moment. Because when you're talking about that, I wasn't there, but
Yeah.
I'm listening to you talk. You like DMX did his thing, and Jay got to perform. And you saw Ja Rule and all that.
Yeah.
So again, you know, that is what we want you to come away with. 24, 25 years later, you're talking about what happened back in 1999, which is dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, it's super dope because concerts and shows and going to clubs and parties and stuff like that. It's just so crazy. I remember seeing the Wu-Tang Clan at this little small spot in Brooklyn called the Ark, and
Listen,
you couldn't.
I was about to say the same thing. I seen
Yeah,
dudes
like you know what I mean, like
at the
Wu-Tang Clan,
PLA,
and
PLA
and
down South Street.
that
It
was
was
like,
crazy.
what that was like. Remember the Five Heartbeats when they was first getting
Oh,
started, when they was in the little back, when they was in the hole in the wall club, and they was passing
mm-hmm.
the.
Yeah.
That's how that was. It was kind of like that because it was so tight and small up in there.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, man, we in the building making it do what it do. We're gonna go overtime tonight a little bit, y'all. I definitely got to get my 3-minute rant in, which is probably gonna go about 6 minutes because I'm mad. Let me live.
I know
Let
you,
me
man.
live. It's time. I got to talk to it.
Tell us why you
Count me
mad.
down, y'all. There. We get ready to get into the 3-minute rant. Before we get started with that, I have to take a deep breath because this is going to get hectic. And the 3-minute rant starts right now. The New York Yankees. What the hell is going on? You're in last place, all by yourself. I made a post on the Down to In Sports Talk Facebook page regarding how I felt about that. I'm tight. I'm mad. I'm upset. Right? If George Steinbrenner was still around, Aaron Boone wouldn't be managing the Yankees. Aaron Judge probably wouldn't be on the Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton definitely wouldn't be on the Yankees. Carlos Rodon, he would be talking about you like a dog. Like, you got all these high-priced dudes that's not doing nothing. And I'm not going to talk about, the Mets, their payroll is $300 million. So what? The San Diego Padres, their payroll is $200. So what? We're not concerned about that. We haven't seen or sniffed a World Series since 2009. I repeat, 2009 was the last time the Yankees was in the World Series. You got Aaron Boone, right, who's still living off of that home run that he hit against the Boston Red Sox in the ALCS. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But the time is wore out off of that. You got Aaron Judge, who the home run record probably is going to get beat by Shohei Ohtani.
He's definitely on track.
And so, Giancarlo Stanton is an albatross. Josh Donaldson is a bum. Garrett Cole is trying, right? And I'm not even going to talk about the other guys because, again, we got rid of Gary Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
We got rid of Gio Urshela. We got rid of those guys. But with the guys that we got rid of Aaron Hicks. And Aaron Hicks is like player of the month in Baltimore.
He out here hitting.
He out here wilding.
Yeah.
So, again, for me, I'm like, this Yankee team, something has to give. And, again, rest in peace, George Steinbrenner. Rest in peace, Hank Steinbrenner. Hal is left with the keys to the kingdom, and he don't know what the hell he's doing.
He don't know what to do. He don't know what he's doing.
So again, at the end of the day, last place is not what we asked for. We're definitely better than Boston. Toronto's coming. I said at the beginning of the season, Browski, Toronto, Baltimore, Tampa Bay. They not waiting for the Yankees to get good.
Mm-mm.
And you can't win the World Series on paper.
Nope.
So what are we going to do? You got a few more days to figure it out before the deadline. We need to make some things happen. And that's the 3-minute rant. I got Browski in the building with me. We here. Smash that like and subscribe button. Down to In Sports Talk. We definitely in the building. Browski, we'll talk some baseball before we get up out of here. Your Phillies. Listen.
Phillies just won.
Listen, my co-D is in the house. Listen, I'm going to talk about you, Browski. She be like, yo, the Phillies is killing me right now. We not going to win 50 games. We're going to lose 135 games. I said, listen, it's going to all work out. Now look at you. Talk to me, Browski. What's happening? Talk to me.
Well, Phillies just won. We just
look at this.
beat the
Look
Brewers.
at the spot.
We are in a tight wild card race We,
Uh-huh.
you know, we have already understood that we are not catching the Braves. We already know that. Okay, what we are focused on is being the top wild card, getting that number one wild card seed. Right now, we in a fight between the Marlins. Um, I just looked at it. It's the Marlins. What?
The Giants.
Arizona. The Yeah. Well, right now, Giants got the top seed right now. Giants. Well, now we moved to second. Arizona and Miami. So it's a tight race. It's only like we only like a game back of the Giants. So between the Phillies and everyone else, it's like a half a game to a half a game out. So is we are on is a very important stretch, a very favorable second half schedule for the Phillies to be able to lock up that first wild card slot. So hopefully, with this series here, as a 3-game series against Milwaukee, we finally was able to take the first game of a series, and hopefully we can sweep them to close that gap between us and Milwaukee and us and Miami and take over that first spot. So um, it's been very up and down season, but I think that we're starting to come around. We still have enough time before the trade deadline. So these next 2 weeks are going to be very important for the Phillies because we're going to have Bryce Harper come out to play first base, and it all depends on his play at first. Will determine what moves the Phillies make during the trade deadline. If we're going to go for um, a guy to play left field, right hand back, or if some reason Bryce is just terrible at first base, like he has to be a dumpster fire at first base for them to go after a first baseman, which most likely would be Paul Goldsmith, because everyone's been chomping at the bits for him. But we have also heard some rumors that Nolan Arenado
Hmm.
may be available also. And if you are telling me that Bryce, is okay at first, and you saying that I can get Nolan Arenado to play third base for me, absolutely, I am jumping on the phone to make an offer,
Browski,
especially if
listen,
the
you hear
offer
Browski, listen, you hear Browski talking greasy. A couple
at
weeks
the
ago, she was like, "Oh my God, I don't know what I'm
hey
gonna do."
hey, listen, things change after a week.
They changed,
You
son.
no. You know how baseball is, right?
Right, 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 right.
Last week the Yankees wasn't in last place, and now this week they are. So things
I,
can
I, I,
change.
I saw what you did there. Shots fired. I saw what you did. Look at that.
Things
Look at
the
this.
things
She laughed.
change.
She
But
laughing at
hey,
me. It's all good. It's okay.
listen, hey, it might flip again next week because you know how the Yankees do. Next thing you know, they making some type of blockbuster trade, and Shohei Ohtani may be in pinstripes. Who knows? Who knows
And
what may
it'll be
happen?
just the Yankees' luck that Shohei Ohtani plays for the Yankees and he trips over a shoelace or something. And I watched him last night when he was playing the Yankees, and he swung the bat and he had a back, and something was tightened up in his back. So here we
Mm-hmm.
go with this. So again, I feel like
Yeah.
there's a lot of baseball left to be played.
Yeah.
You're starting to see, the cream rise to the top a little bit. You're going to
Yeah.
see the teams that we talked about at the beginning of the season start to kind of like show their true colors of who they are and things of that nature. So again, August the 1st is fast approaching. As a matter of fact, August the 1st is a Tuesday. So we will be doing our show on
Yes.
deadline day. So again, we'll get it popping. Rock out with us on Down in Sports Talk. We will definitely be in the building. One last question before we get up out of here, Browski. Where do you think Shohei Ohtani will end up?
Whoever got the deepest pockets,
Whoever got the
whoever,
deepest pockets.
whoever want to take the luxury tax, because one, he already stated that he doesn't want to go to an organization that's not winning.
Right.
You know,
So that
so
so that eliminates the Yankees.
Well, that eliminates a lot of teams. Um,
You won't be
and you
playing for
know
the
what's
Pirates.
crazy? But you know what's crazy?
Right.
Even though the Yankees are losing right now, I'm guaranteed he wouldn't be opposed to going to the Yankees because it's the Yankees.
Right. It's
You
the look.
know,
Right. It's
like,
absolutely
like,
be the
like,
look.
like, like, truthfully, everybody who plays baseball or in the league has always dreamed about being a Yankee. Like it's a historic organization, and even though I'm a huge Philly fan, I can definitely, I don't feel bad about saying it. It's a historic franchise.
But let
When
me say
you think
let me
about
say
when
this.
you think about
Let me say this right quick.
hmm
When Otani was coming into the league 6 years ago, he didn't even want to talk to the Yankees.
hmm
You know what I mean? So again, even though if the Angels traded him to the Yankees, it would take the decision out of his hands. And we
yeah,
need a bat and an arm like Otani, but I think he's more inclined to kind of like be on the West Coast. So if
yeah,
he does leave the Angels,
Dodgers.
I'm looking at like maybe the Dodgers. You know what I
I can see the
mean?
Dodgers.
Yeah, the Dodgers or something like that. But I'm not even getting my hopes up because he didn't even want to talk to the Yankees,
Yeah,
a few years ago. So
but I
that's
got a
how that
question
goes.
for you. I got a
Go
question for
ahead.
you
Go ahead.
about Shohei. What do you think gonna go first, the pitching or the hitting? It's not gonna last forever. Which one gonna go first?
Um, that's a good question. That's a good question. I think that at this point in the game, I'm just going to say if I have to answer that question, and I will, I think that the hitting will go first.
Really, that's interesting because
I
most
think the
people
hitting will
say
go first
a lot of people says the
because
pitching.
I think the reason why I say the hitting will go first is because now that you have the DH in the league, he wouldn't have to even be in the lineup hitting 3 or 4 times a week like he is now. He could do that maybe once or twice. You know what I mean? And I would rather have Otani on the bump every fourth day than to have him in the lineup every day because that's more of a chance of him getting hurt. So I think that, and it just as evidence as last night when he took those swings and his back was hurting. So that they don't want to be able to have him sit out so whether he can't pitch or bat. But if you ask me the question, which one I think would go first, I would say the hitting would go first.
Hmm, okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. A
Yep.
lot of folks that I had asked, they answered pitching.
Yeah.
They think pitching will go
But
first.
and maybe and we have a point because I get at the end of the day he's doing both of them extremely well. He's at the top of the
Yeah.
game doing what he does. You know what I'm saying? But again, I just think that I would rather him. If I can get Otani I would rather him be a pitcher for me than a hitter.
hmm
You know what I mean? And and on that note, we're about to get up out of here. I got to thank my ubiquitous Cody, Yada Bear, holding me down, and she's been doing for a long time now. Make sure y'all check Yada Bear out, man. We in the building all the time. Shout out to
Definitely.
Bubby. You know what I mean? Our sponsor for Down in Sports Talk.
Yes.
We'll have them on the show in a couple of weeks, and we in the building. So, any shout outs? Anybody you want to talk to or acknowledge before we get up out of here, Browski?
Um. No.
She said,
No. No.
"Stupid."
I
Said,
Yeah. Hey,
no,
hey,
I'm good.
here you go. Yeah. Shout out to Florida boy Jay. He's
All right.
been doing this thing. I've been checking out his podcast, Perspective Facts. I've been checking them out. So shout out to the Florida boy, and can't wait for our NFL conversations.
Absolutely. I spoke with Florida Boy Jay a few nights ago. I spoke with him, and he was like, "Yo, when the NFL season starts, he go hard body karate for Jacksonville Jaguars." So
Okay.
again, he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be on the show. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna be a regular on the show on Tuesdays because it'll be after we could do the the Tuesday evening quarterback thing where we could talk about the games and we could kind of
Mm-hmm.
preview what's coming up for the week and stuff like that. So y'all look forward to that. Florida Boy Jay is going to be in the building with Down in Sports Talk. So we're about to get up out of here. We appreciate everybody, man. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button Down in Sports Talk, y'all. We are in the building. And if you like what we do, the support offering is $ left-handed. Make sure you get at us. We are in the building. Don't go nowhere, Browski. We are in the house. Down in Sports Talk, left-handed, Yada Bear, left-handed. We are in the building, Down in Sports Talk on Facebook. We got our page over there. Holla at us over there. We are on YouTube. Holla at us on YouTube. And we are definitely in the building on StreamYard. So we're about to get out of here. Another show we done knocked down. We'll talk to y'all next week. All right. Y'all be peace wherever y'all go. Left-handed, Yada Bear in the house. Y'all be peace. We out.
Peace.